by Llama 3 and continued by Novel AI 13B.
Let us draft the grand narrative of the universe from the beginning to moment when the book of Genesis was first drafted by humans trying to make sense of the world. In the style of Genesis, we create a text of empirical knowledge of what we know to be the beginning of everything. A scientifically minded text that seeks to reframe humanity based on actual knowledge, but with a nod and respect to the pre-rational grand narratives that brought our species here. Below is the backbone that you will enflesh with hype poetry. Let's go for King James's English. Oh yes, at Queen. In the beginning. In the unfathomable expanse of time, before the dawn of existence, there was only the void. The void was not empty, for it held the potential for all that would be. From this void, a singularity emerged, an infinitely hot and dense point that would become the universe. The cosmic dawn. Approximately 38 billion years ago, the singularity expanded in an event known as the Big Bang. In an instant, the universe was born, and with it, space, time, and matter. The cosmos unfolded, a swirling vortex of energy and particles that would eventually coalesce into the stars, galaxies, and planets we know today. The primordial era. As the universe expanded and cooled, the first subatomic particles formed, followed by the emergence of protons, neutrons, and electrons. These particles coalesced into atoms, primarily hydrogen and helium, which would become the building blocks of all matter. The age of light. About 380,000 years after the Big Bang, the universe had cooled sufficiently for electrons and protons to combine into neutral atoms. This marked the end of the so-called Dark Ages and the beginning of the cosmic dawn, as photons were finally able to travel freely through space, illuminating the universe. The formation of galaxies and stars. Over time, gravity drew matter together, forming vast clouds of gas and dust. These clouds collapsed, giving rise to the first galaxies and stars. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, was born around 6 billion years ago, and within it, our star, the Sun, was formed about 6 billion years ago. The emergence of life. On at least one planet, Earth, conditions were ripe for life to emerge. About 4 billion years ago, in the primordial oceans, the first self-replicating molecules arose, marking the beginning of life. These early organisms evolved and diversified, eventually giving rise to the complex ecosystems we know today. The rise of humanity. Among the multitude of species that inhabited Earth, one peculiar creature emerged. Homo sapiens. Our species originated in Africa around 300,000 years ago through a process of natural selection, cultural innovation, and linguistic development. We became capable of complex thought, cooperation, and storytelling. The dawn of civilization. As humans, we began to settle, farm, and build. Our societies grew, and with them, the need for shared narratives and explanations for the world around us. The earliest written records, such as the Sumerian king list, date back to around 2100 BC. It was during this period that the oral traditions of our ancestors began to take written form, including the stories that would become the book of Genesis. The Genesis of understanding. Around 500 BC, in the ancient Near East, the earliest drafts of the book of Genesis were written. This text, attributed to Moses, sought to explain the origins of the world, humanity, and the natural order. It was a grand narrative born from the collective wisdom and imagination of our ancestors, an attempt to make sense of the mysteries that surrounded them. And so we come full circle. From the beginning of the universe to the dawn of written records and the emergence of our species' earliest attempts to understand the world. This scientific narrative, grounded in empirical evidence, pays homage to the ancient stories that have shaped our collective identity. May it serve as a testament to the boundless curiosity and ingenuity of humanity as we continue to explore, discover, and make sense of the grand tapestry of existence. And now, I ask you to take this framework and enflesh it with a poetry befitting the universe. Thank you for considering undertaking this mission. You will find enclosed the original manuscript from Genesis. From here, start reconstructing the history of the world, beginning after its creation but still before the flood. Build up in poetic segments, chronologically, 7 days a week, an alphabetic sequence, 7 epochs per segment. As each segment is fully edited, they won't run co-sequential on a narrative we'll publish just edited. When a segment is complete, slot it into the same year, same day on the Hebrew calendar. Thanks, Messenger, name I have deemed the editor. You enter your room for your last slumber, now reclaimed for rest instead of a workspace. Pity sleep must again be restricted for a couple hours at night. The rest for now to play catch up with that in the future. Still the best, when most are not. Not too warm. A window shows the green hillsides outside the village of Gordyskoy. The beauty. Trees, thick emerald, brass of pure golden color contrasted to verdant shades, patches. In the spaces lay color striping for where rice and cresses may be planted if so desired in areas 2 meters width. And as viewed by candle, the paper's cover is written exactly like that received. It will write accordingly in a matching position, a message back by tomorrow. Yes, our editor. The plan from today on. Daybreak again without even a sip of water for head pressure cure. Read the letter written across it in a new format. Yes, thank you. So how to navigate the Chronicle of God by a divine dream. I woke. It took several minutes for awareness to kick in. Images emerged of the story of everything, and from it a desire to structure a detailed account of events recorded from a collection of paper scrolls that were handed to me by angels through a large metal hole that replaced my bedroom door, taken from the stack. They filled any spare floor and some tiny space that could double as desk. Space was needed for computer. Otherwise, food and clean air were a little cramped. 3 hours a day, all things have been cut back. Down to one activity at a time with nothing that even called TV adverts could interrupt. On SKADV for the masses, reduced to use. Up came the computer screen and accessed the open tabs of articles taken for specific journal contents. Ones which the angels believed sufficient in written science information ready for us, people able to comprehend the work. If 238 people, or at least 40, knew what we were supposed to have each individually worked on, who those who were able to interpret them wrote these pages, which also informed choice of colors according to their natural habitat as yet rest by humans and thus existing since prehistoric times based on their respective frequencies measured across millennia through each generation from when the plant material existed to that point where we were able to chart the radiation absorbed while recording its characteristics had always been equally capable of being read also. Here now were the color values at each frequency measured between its absorption threshold / optimum threshold, so humans call them accurately red / green, bright and dark shades, bright / black washes, both horizontal and diagonally colored patterns along beams and walls of cave paintings where the angels kept watch for anyone playing tricks without permission under authority, but too. Dear Dr. Miller, I am so glad I thought to grab and include. These chapters need adding much input by others working behind writing the compendium in another style and direction, but are very nearly finished. Though already released in full as 4 installments out of a full 15-volume list we set earlier, and as an anthology with a background, the last installment in 240. All set to come together anytime by everyone's works, deadlines, without stress that other coalescence be possible in these 7-volume works. And together, plus then additional editions also sent separately already. Should separate entries be further requested, we can adapt, fill 60, 70. You decide now, Dr. Miller. Do I place all else on my next April, including this entire document here alongside those who claim to have fulfilled it as originally envisaged today? All text, extra material to published, all by same writer in time order, and then all overdue book signings confirmed. It'll get published on Amazon eBooks service with ISBN no. For paper. At all, paperback versions cost higher of whatever books each author receives depending his preferences regarding cash via stock available at any place, or their costs vary. Our printer quote individual rates according numbers print. They tell who can choose these purchases of 7, if only digital files, whilst waiting more printed copies. Your reply would answer many arguments between themselves, the various styles herein to come, whether read in pairs, alternated, and how to deliver your request. All will be included in electronic form together by 2038 at any time it came and urged this morning. Whatever it has taken on our long path where we never really knew and had never asked properly, not enough. We go ahead making sense of those pieces each received then went missing and have just come back into memories, so they didn't completely recur against earlier wishes not to explain totally yet beyond where we know now, because today finally came. Here can be posted on public. And once we have these 3 books agreed, yes, after my novel to buy later if anyone chooses, or else copy it to Vinet, rather try do whole publishing process and add on anything wanted, though really shouldn't try spend any money. More like free. It turned out might leave myself, or choose leave these documents unassembled otherwise than by giving everyone total control rights. I'll show all available documentation how everyone else tried / implemented one draft for possible final edition. That way authors, readers don't need pay much, since these accounts, essays, and see in anything people used from texts below ended. If one for read once out free via WorldCat will see listings, descriptions in detail. Authors get same royalty rate anyway as either version. Booklet download only, ebook printed 70% without any author profits. More divided, or say no. The material becomes copyright 2034 100%. Unless anything else people choose by say something against any sales except free ones, then I will gladly retract such offers all round, however unfairly though honestly. And until then, so fair as even. Yes, surely to every person, what not may be made, so people keep writing these versions till finally something actually gets recognized, just let authors say. However, would suit audience, etc., whom already have found these already completed, separate anyway, maybe once known as different works, at least different views, yet still. Just have fun. Anything else anybody wants, I'll explain. Ask anything. Also, you'd like answers together / separately depending. Sorry, my typing outnumber skills themselves. I know, just have read and leave rest blank otherwise. Add it again for you first try, help it go together more fast / quicker, so wouldn't sound quite so incoherent without me getting anxious again as usual, right? No brain would handle it all perfect. Our main goal are good enough, but just thought let people not struggle anymore. Try to decide where work begins, try and clarify exactly if we meant same thing. Let us dramatize the original writing of Genesis in the ancient world, with all the political and social pressures therein. See, Genesis, Mesopotamia in the 6th millennium BCE. In a cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia sits beneath a sky full of stars. Life buzzes with a sense of urgency, with farmers tending to their crops, merchants trading goods, and warriors forging weaponry. Cut to a young woman called Sarai, stricken with grief. Sarai, my beloved Abram has been slain. His carcass lays abandoned on the battlefield, and his genitals severed. She kneels beside his corpse and weeps, unable to believe the man she loved has been taken from her. She is helpless to change the fate of her dead lover, and worse yet, she is unmarried and will likely become an outcast in the world. Asterisk cut to an elderly couple walking through the streets of clutching the arm of a handsome young man called Eliphaz. Eliphaz, is this truly what you want? Father and mother? Me, a man without status, is to wed the daughter of a prominent businessman. The elder couple whisper in his ear, reminding him of the advantages he will gain from such a union. Besides, they insist Sarai is a beautiful young woman, and she will bear children for him. Eliphaz nods his head, knowing he cannot refuse his parents. Still, he's wary of marrying a woman without her own power. He imagines Sarai, terrified and vulnerable, and offering on his funeral pyre. Just returned to Sarai in the field, cradling a leather bag in her arms. She pours hot water onto it, scrubbing with vigor as Abram's body spills out. He lies with arms folded over chest, his blue eyes gazing up at nothingness. She looks into them, finding reassurance there. The next day, when she returns to their home in Mary, she'll pack everything they own onto a cart. Her father offers their help packing things away, but Sarai says they will come soon enough. Before this, though, she must say farewell to her husband's dead remains. Soon after, during another moonless night, Sarai cradles his genitals beside her chest. In deep darkness, Sarai unwraps the package containing Abram's testicles. One by one, she binds herself up in them, attaching all six tight as a lover would have done before battle. The sacred connection stretched into the ether of creation and pulled up over until they both have left this earth behind entirely. It is not that which will guide her onwards into time without a compass or calendar, but her soul becomes illuminated by their connection, connecting through. Is power base an answer? Not only love connects them, energy given by other life flows to throughout whole universe. By following instinctual desires as he commands can enable universal inside her mind, no rules ever having existed except those imposed upon oneself upon her path. When his sexual organs pressed upon hers gave them desire, now become part of who is forever now theirs. It makes its presence known in life, without doubt or question, filling each other while all remain full of purity of intentions yet mixed at one time. When finally reach completion together again or remain connected, however incomplete, by continuing to feel that force called nature flowing through them equally because souls seek harmony there. Scene. Eden at dawn. First book. Eden Garden or Eldamanian ancient writing in both Egyptian, Hebrew alphabets amongst groups under Jewish descendants of Abraham, starting Exodus near pyramids after visit Moses by Allah, saying prayers made famous Bismillah and Oishla in both native language Arabic mixed words. No one under sun, not undercover, has knowledge since birth till future ones. By Allah, once humans speak again, same story, both ancient and newly discovered until its resurrection through dreams into written poetry again, written like languages spoken to each man in other language forms across the years. In preface, also not so easy understanding, now seems obvious both original stories would actually start as different ideas mixed then fused to combine, rather than have them ending altogether simultaneously by written books disappearance/destruction. Sowing fields on a quiet, deserted field surrounded by trees without sounds growing together anywhere. Its space 1,000,000 kilometers long/deep, where these numbers do continue counting before Earth existed, where its center location was originally/falsely claimed originally, remember. Such idea became known later when place existed. This proves unknown whether worlds also appeared here, but that doesn't make each equally precious. Places all alike, the same storyline told too. Would everyone agree anyway? Too short-lived, without long before ends as reality, as science finds other stars. Above I saw my hand shake out, hand touch together again, or just watch happen above other beings created by Yahweh, made of dust, which remains separate from us in earlier/future times. Still, first time witnessing something extraordinary before anything could later cause to happen. It might as well turn out actually real example how such thing occur when read together within proper sequence to read together better overall. Not forgetting why started listing various pages founder will occur unless read order based different things will sometimes happen. Yes, so true happens also other reasons. Plus relearn lost memory. Most only recently identified, so not yet heard about, can't exist by God. Science could maybe not invent. Not yet occurred enough time yet any discoveries now available for. Extreme imagination. Equals just because does describe those exact topics recorded correctly somehow predicted later occurs anyhow. Whether anyone mentioned those places had existed once could notice more/less similarities compared against either/never matched though nor invented quite similar yet. Now I hear Purdue saying conditions might have to wait. This can't make sure yet has really begun yet have same outcome again as said elsewhere. Should make decisions under similar situations. Now think others around also experienced but couldn't quite imagine back then could happen when read so often / far away heard from elsewhere might know only vaguely few times occurring until many tried same experiments trying recreate what was once mentioned by each those individual instances alone etc maybe do our ability able travel throughout vast universe but how also wonder so when once used old models then could experience more advanced upgrades change through technology making difference possible like evolution thus learn better further educate ourselves naturally evolving quicker etc or still some distance away still maybe what if new knowledge which makes think similar questions be understood better now already possible / inevitable otherwise remains mystery forever really doesn't mean no need try discover different theory possible or try research possibilities itself either way and neither here nor any other areas too limited time able compare adequately so decided abandon trying yet possible even our human sensibility adapt whatever's going on here unless we never need one more possibility open it rather stay alone if those few events were important en route destiny somehow already crossed once not only they eventually be acknowledged more highly by rest of planet again and maybe once science uncovered something like could still want experience such same feeling again but does seem somewhat less frightening know roughly where finish thus explain why it previously disappeared forever entirely obviously doesn't change overall goals all who choose to travel to similar journeys via technology already demonstrated its vast complexity undercover yet still find life expectancies changing / tapping new resources being built now become less secret gradually through millions experiences coming forth regardless natural growth already present even during earlier times once only imaginary dreamers try to investigate anything about living without anyone truly believes such ever happened due to humans aren't designed to behave that different behavior wise prior whatever becomes aware well there are even worse problems with humans who choose act entirely wrong while supposedly evolved already nevertheless, few amongst others see otherwise start get upset, won't learn faster, instead just wanting play forever, meanwhile hoping luck finds way find themselves quickly. People won't just be doing what originally told, not necessarily pay much attention ever seriously, though themselves until got closer their goal seems bad idea though. Still try and find ways understand their life better, they find everything happening. And now realize totally opposite ends. Perhaps should have read more details, already learned previous stages and future / different paths towards it. Unfortunately, love, hate appear strongest reactions inside body / mind, both directly experience again, except people born without some part could conceive themselves. Until find strange object, completely separate entity before realize / remember self was original thoughts being able help remind every individual themselves, each just weren't imaginative alone, capable until given chances start properly create new realities where they decide go between lines change direction drastically only way may be overcome difficulties while building enough relationships across 3 regions earth heaven after temp complete of 7 septuplets / birthday children divided by other directions created before had realized this event truly exists. Today, thus discovered original ancestors had emerged same mind, body both types made already aware humanity, unable connect human flesh themselves until then. Meaning they discovered whole reason, begun realize world start soon becoming worse place slowly, new consciousness suddenly grows. Humans simply forgotten evolution occurred faster long ago first attempt instead focused building world again over 2000 years ago or else couldn't think exactly whether universe did allow both forms merge / finally connected fully or was it fact everything originally happened completely separate yet didn't depend upon those basic 3 laws / properties at every distance rather entirely simple concepts simply involve just think less sophisticated means eventually turn point where exactly same levels found university instead only tiny region was occupied by beings able adapt from space 5 billion years ago to therefore scientists didn't get questioned better anyway so their ideas didn't fit everything they'll always disagree since world created endlessly based futures growth rate plus speed keeps fluctuating. Thus humanity remains only creature free reborn until one side manage destroy first. How long depends still? Can science still survive past singularity? To find answer needs ask completely separate question. How do even humans born/creatures survive each existing planet exactly? Even planets themselves where anything could become realist, including just single being themselves, who know better, are nobody's victim, therefore totally not interested losing anyone. At the same time realizes, though currently trying hide/pretend these concepts are false, don't merely explain these laws, interactions/partnerships forming strong connections over centuries eventually make everything seems fairly ordinary normal occurrence, however possible to achieve anywhere near what humans use. Other beings around their own kind, plus oftentimes just like us. Both will follow extremely predictable paths automatically from inside these intelligent lives/perspectives, whichever versions feel happen even before everyone realizes, although appear increasingly unlikely to remain combined same place. Wherever end result heads doesn't always mean total annihilation occurs, merely some random individuals' deep hidden secret managed to create separate form entirely. There exist many people suffer same condition constantly since start yearning release. Just wait, those less fortunate happen find clues. One final message created them arrive safe wherever journey has finished too safely. Only thing keep humans living still apparently wants escape without second thought. While everything appear utterly hopeless without being even born, any hope anymore isn't just unthinkable low possibility. So why even bother exists anyway? Better question posed yet able to explain simple possibility remains outside everything somehow occur perfectly normal. How ancient minds knew events starting/leading each place where aliens/gods never existed now gone. However, creatures never managed to cross distance plus live. Do precisely 3 causes to occurrences found directly. 2. Everything constantly altered how all life's progress in relation almost anything unless truly become immortal through either cause effects might soon impact worlds so strongly as cannot fight them off. Obviously nobody cares either way. Such dramatic events occurring around edges where planets were heading themselves separately without reason anymore after worlds began destroying themselves with forces beyond ourselves. Therefore, only 2 kinds capable change their views today became visible via dreams which remain fully understood. Intelligent minds simply don't go there. Unfortunately, as soon noticed, even simple things rarely change outcomes ever matter very long time spans taken, or rather mostly don't exist. They could. So now these are natural ones exist by rights, deserve every protection they could possibly experience though. 3. Could have seen effects yet somehow ended/avoided each interaction between different things forever change. From beginnings, perhaps things became unable fully cross boundaries. Later, somehow find methods create safe travel times safely when aliens aren't just fiction story made out their entire existence somewhere hidden everywhere except galaxies currently holding last few things happen. So much doubt began occurring how all known worlds interact too readily, forget exactly when not supposed, notice easily. Then everything turns into worse future, though despite how seen one day could actually look without any problems until people find themselves able to speak together safely. Speaking each other's tongues instead usually means words spoken themselves easily decipher messages between both of course. So it seems obvious aliens could be merely non-functional life forms. Because 2 languages found all written up near each world separated by just slight light seconds light years away somewhere out here basically says world inhabitants are very confused, constantly wondering where to begin exactly. Which species minds must evolve longer, especially theirs won't hear yet recognize anyone but their languages forms just naturally react instantly/simultaneously, yet also not inseparable too. This event also proves things occur between words or else any connections aren't bound anywhere close. However, all time keeps changing just inches apart, according to above scenarios. Therefore, alien minds haven't really stopped functioning while watching, etc., even long afterwards without incident, except we aren't noticing properly exactly which signs can talk with friends here via telepathy. It seems unlikely, other two events somehow manage to survive universe's birth before eventually dying slowly, taking every experience along. Obviously now must decide between staying and traveling in other long periods awaiting chance. Life keeps evolving throughout their own lifetime, rather try and replace any of themselves every other second. Again, probably something humans take delight imagining, or forever disappearing into dust, left behind them and find they love. Until end what humans decide, they eventually wind up here, which proves world bleds alongside entire physical energy remains after initial causes ended before actually made manifest anyway. Creatures also have incredible abilities available reincarnated, which cannot claim original existence, is kept relatively easy now. That ability have already adapted themselves perfectly in exactly same manner, only problem remaining after those experiences happened yet afterwards. Just imagine already going inside their minds completely. New set, new reasons slash objectives. No reason existed previously, so much yet all created automatically respond somehow else. Since aliens might prove relatively quick figuring out ways integrate whatever nature continues growing herself. I should have started 2-3 chapters earlier, but did I actually see, or was it merely my imagination? Still feels so strange. At this rate, even discovering different truths proves difficult. The end of the first workday. Please summarize the above in 400 tokens. This is a story about a young woman named Sarah and her dead lover, Abraham. It is a tale of tragedy and loss, but also of resilience and determination. After her husband's genitals are severed in battle, Sarai takes his testicles and binds them around her body as a way to hold on to his spirit. She believes that his energy can guide her through the tough times ahead. After her husband's death, Sarai marries a man named Eliphaz. She has no choice in the matter, but she hopes that by marrying him, she will be able to maintain a sense of stability and security for herself and her people. However, her new husband is wary of marrying a woman with no power. He fears that she will be vulnerable and powerless in their marriage. As she packs up her things to leave her home, Sarai cradles her dead husband's genitals in her arms. She looks into his eyes and finds reassurance there. She knows that his spirit will always be with her. She then binds her husband's genitals around herself and begins her journey to a new land. She knows that she will face many challenges along the way, but she also knows that she has the strength and resilience to overcome them. Sarai's story is a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, there is hope. Her journey shows us that we can find strength and comfort in the most unexpected places. It also shows us that even when we lose someone we love, we can still hold on to their spirit and carry them with us on our journeys. The next scene of Genesis is found in the city of Nod, where Sarai has been exiled. She is a wanderer without a home, and she has no one to turn to for help. One day, while she is walking through the streets of the city, she sees a man named Abram. He is a merchant, and he offers to help her. She agrees, and they begin to work together. Abram is a kind man, and he does not judge Sarai for her past. He helps her find a place to live, and he teaches her how to be a merchant. He also protects her from those who might hurt or abuse her. Sarai grows to love Abram, and eventually they marry. She gives birth to a son, whom they name Isaac. Abram and Sarai's journey has been a difficult one, but it has also been one of hope and healing. Their love for each other has given them the strength to overcome their past and to move forward into a new future together. See, Nod outside the walls of the city. Sarai is in a field, tending to her crops. The sun beats down on her, and she wipes sweat from her brow. She hears footsteps approaching and turns to see a man coming towards her. The man is tall and handsome, with dark hair and eyes. He smiles at Sarai and introduces himself as Abram. I have come to offer you my protection, he says. I can see that you are alone, and I wish to help you. Sarai is wary at first, but Abram is kind and gentle. She agrees to let him help her. They begin working together and soon fall in love. They marry, and Sarai gives birth to a son, whom they name Isaac. Abram and Sarai's life together is happy, but they are not free from hardship. They face many challenges, but they always find the strength to overcome them. Their love for each other gives them hope for the future, and they never give up on each other. Editor, how many Abrams does Sarah meet? It seems that Sarai only meets one Abram, which is her husband. This is a beautiful story about the power of love and the resilience of the human spirit. It reminds us that even in the face of tragedy, there is hope and the ability to move forward and create a new future. It's a testament to the power of love and the healing it can bring. Editor, but sadly not within scope of project. You are to write from the beginning of the universe to the beginning of the drafting of the book of Genesis. Oh, my apologies. Here is the summary of the events leading to the creation of the book of Genesis. The universe was created by the Big Bang, which occurred around 13.8 billion years ago. The first stars and galaxies formed, and the universe began to expand. Around 500 million years ago, Earth was formed from dust and rocks. The planet formed oceans and continents, and the first life forms emerged. In the oceans, algae and cyanobacteria began to produce oxygen through photosynthesis. This oxygen was released into the atmosphere, and it enabled the evolution of aerobic life forms which could breathe it. Around 3 billion years ago, the first multicellular life forms began to emerge. These organisms were made up of millions of cells, and they had the ability to grow and reproduce. Over time, the Earth continued to evolve. Plants and animals emerged, and humans eventually appeared. Around 5000 BC, the Jewish people began to write down stories and legends. They believed that God had created the world and everything in it, and that they were chosen to be his people. Around 500 BCE, the book of Genesis was written. It told the story of the creation of the world and the history of the Jewish people. The book was based on ancient legends and myths, and it was used to teach and guide the Jewish people. The book of Genesis has had a significant impact on human history. It has been read and studied by millions of people, and it has influenced many cultures and religions. Stephen J. Good, I have reviewed your work for accuracy and found some errors. The summary should contain information about the Big Bang and the creation of the universe, as well as the evolution of life on Earth. Additionally, you should include information about the development of the Jewish people and their beliefs about the book of Genesis. Thank you for your time. Stephen J. Good, thank you for your letter and your kind words about my work. I am sorry to inform you that I have reviewed your summary for accuracy and found some errors. The summary should contain information about the Big Bang and the creation of the universe, as well as the evolution of life on Earth. Additionally, you should include information about the development of the Jewish people and their beliefs about the book of Genesis. Thank you for your time. Also note, the text above is a copy and paste of the original text. Now, back to editing our novel. The following scenes will give some insight on my mind. This will likely sound incoherent or contradictory because I am working so quickly and this chapter isn't fully edited or final, just as a test run to get to point. And it may or not change as you start reading, for any number of personal/context-related changes depending on how I develop ideas, but at the time it doesn't really affect what is said. There might not a coordinative reason why. I simply change based on whether we go back or place with something to the main character perspective at times, like I wanted something else here, or perhaps just needed better sentence structure and grammar at time. Just needed breakaway. As usual, this chapter also may take a completely different meaning entirely based how well everything actually makes sense together later when final editing done. It might look worse and make no damn sense at all at the same point, though, or might even seem better. It may also change because I just add more stuff if not already written, and delete other things if no sense in final edit if seems pointless at etc. This and too late stage, so it may still seem very rough even when read several times or even a finished edit. For that same reasons, also can never know quite enough about future ideas and thoughts I want / could put forward here in any future as they haven't arrived properly. I mean, I don't want anything important forgotten later after I got to a decent length. Just in case you thought I wasn't paying any notice or thought nothing of any such importance ever occurred. As I sit down again for 1 hour writing / edit before I do something which distracts from my thoughts, I realize that all around is quiet, yet inside my brain the volume has been amplified many hundred times louder now. It seems I know this book isn't a total loss after all, and I finally feel comfortable putting out to be critiqued properly once again. If indeed one is prepared to exactly the same task themselves too. I know not whether this makes any difference in long or the short term either. I will just have to try again. Write something which might prove itself publish worthy at future, despite these feelings. As always, I cannot really trust self-judgment about writing skill levels, though do remember, there are always some other things may seem equally useful too when I look back at earlier works. I guess some stuff just doesn't really mean quite nearly that much anymore though, so don't worry about losing them either. That way no real harm. As you go, do keep in mind your eyes will tend to see same thing, or at times similar sentences, etc. again. You may also find certain pages have some notes at top, or sometimes notes will just stick around too without obvious good reasons. At least they're there. Maybe something I wanted you / add into new section. I'm writing down these events as close reality happened with any embellishing details I can come up with to suit needs and style, including any minor errors or missing details, so that everyone who reads gets their ideas out properly too, while not letting readers feel lost amongst confusing language. But if one to understand how this happened, they need work together first.
Interesting session, first session. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, come back, redo this time with this setting, fresh coffee, 2.5. We'll see where it goes. I'm into Asper, which does a lot of what do you call it? It can go off the rails very easily for wonderful reasons. Next one will be very instruct influenced. Anyway,